Hi, thanks for joining me today. I'm Erin with Body of Light Pilates, Yoga, and Meditation in New York City. Today we're going to use a foam roller to do a hip release. So this one is great for any time you feel low back pain, pain around your sacrum or SI joints, sacral iliac joints. We'll take a look at those in a moment on the skeleton if you're not sure what I'm talking about. This is also great post-travel if you've been sitting in a car or on an airplane for an extended period of time. I really like to do it pre-run. Post-run is also really nice. Pre-workout, post-workout. So before we start, let's take a look at our skeleton. We're going to turn him around and take a look at his pelvis. So you have your ilium, which are your two pelvic halves. This is the top front of your ilium right here. And then in the middle, this bone that joins the two pelvic halves, it's at the bottom of the spine, is your sacrum. So your sacrum is a roughly triangular shaped bone right in the middle of your pelvis. And then at the bottom of the sacrum is your tail, your coccyx. So sacral iliac joint, SI joint, these two spots right here where the ilium attaches to the sacrum, sometimes can cause some low back pain in those joints if your pelvis is off balance here. So let's just look at one of the muscles that we're going to release today. The muscle we're going to release is the piriformis. You may have heard a lot about the piriformis. It attaches to the front of your sacrum. So not the back, but the face of the sacrum. So it's still at the back of the body, but it's the front of the sacrum. And it extends out to the greater trochanter on your femur. So from the face of the sacrum, across the pelvis, to the greater trochanter. Let's take a look at that from the front of the skeleton. So it's attaching from the face of the sacrum out to the greater trochanter. So it's kind of like a stripe across the glute. Piri means pair, formus means shape, it's pear-shaped. So we're just gonna release the right side to begin. We'll pause and observe our work, and then we'll do the left side, or you'll just rewind the video and do the left side on your own. So you'll sit on your foam roller, lean back onto your hands, cross your right ankle over your left knee, and just start rocking side to side. And this should feel like a deep tissue massage sensation, depending on the firmness of your roller. I really like a softer roller. Some people like a really hard roller. I find that my body on a hard roller kind of seizes and fights against it and actually doesn't release. It actually makes it more tight. But everybody's different, so you decide which works best for you. And again, you know, different body parts react differently to different firmnesses in the roller. And you're really trying to massage the right side here, rocking side to side. And you might find a little spot where you want to like scrub up and down or just rest on it. We'll take a few more moments here on this right piriformis. Make sure you're taking nice deep breaths. Inhaling through your nose and exhaling out of your nose. And the next release that we will do is an adductor release. So your adductors are your inner thigh muscles, adductors, thinking about adding to the midline. So for this one, you'll lie on your left side. You can either lie completely on your side, or you can prop yourself up on your elbow here, but you'll bring your leg onto the roller. You want the roller above the knees so that the shin is hanging towards the floor. You want the roller to be approximately perpendicular to your femur, to your thigh. And then you'll roll all the way up to the inner thigh, or excuse me, to the pelvis. Get way up there next to the pubic bone, and all the way down to the inner knee. You may notice there's some pretty tender spots in here. If you need a little more pressure, you can press down on your leg as you go. And when foam rolling, you want to move slowly. So if you're just like speeding through it, your tissue is not going to have a chance to rehydrate. So what we're doing here when we foam roll is we're bringing hydration, fluid back to the tissue. So if you imagine a sponge, if you're just like squeezing and releasing really fast, you're not releasing a lot of fluid, nor are you taking in a lot of fluid. But if you squeeze all the fluid out slowly, and then slowly let it come back in, you'll introduce more fluid to the tissue. So nice and slow. And you want this leg to be heavy onto the roller. As I roll, my leg starts to inch down, so I'm always having to bring my knee back up so that the femur is perpendicular to the roller. So we'll do one more roll all the way down to the inner knee and all the way up into the groin, into the pelvis. And on this next roll, identify 2 or 3 very tender spots. And then you'll pause in the most tender spot. You'll internally rotate the femur so the foot goes up to the ceiling, and then externally rotate the foot down to the ground. And you'll keep moving like that. Foot lifts up so that the femur spirals in, and then the foot goes down so the femur spirals out or releases back to neutral. Again, moving slowly with your breath. Inhaling through the nose. If you need to release a little extra tension, you can sigh out of the mouth, maybe flutter the lips. Do one more here. And then you'll roll down to your next most tender spot. This will be the second of 3. Same thing. Rolling the femur in, foot goes up to the ceiling, and releasing the foot down, the femur spirals slightly laterally or externally. Sometimes nice to lay your head down on your arm. You really want to release your body as you're doing this, working only where is absolutely necessary. Do one more here, inhaling through your nose, exhaling through the nose or sighing out of the mouth. And last spot, you'll travel up to the last most tender spot. Mine is always right next to the knee. You can get really close to the knee here. And then same thing. Internally rotating and externally rotating. You can keep going like that. You might also notice it sometimes feels good to scrub a little side to side or up and down. If you need more time on this inner thigh, you can spend more time doing the internal and external. Otherwise, you're going to roll all the way up to the hip and all the way down to the knee, like 2 or 3 more times to finish off this inner leg. And then lastly, let's take an IT band release. So iliotibial trap. This is the infamous IT band that goes from your hip down to your tibia. So you've got a lot of really important muscles that attach to the IT band or ITB. And you'll lie on your right side, legs stacked. If this is too much, you step your top foot down to the ground. And again, you'll roll all the way down to the knee, going as slowly as possible. Moving even more slowly through those areas that are the most intense. You might feel some bumps in there, like right about here. My quad kind of jumps over the roller. It's okay. Just move nice and slowly through those spots. And if it's again too much, you can put your top foot down. And you'll roll all the way up to the hip and all the way down to the knee. So this is my bump spot. You might even be able to see it on the video. It just kind of, my quad jumps here. Ooh, it was pretty smooth that time. That first roll did it. But usually it'll be pretty bumpy in that spot. Make sure you're breathing. 2 or 3 more slow rolls up to the pelvis. Make sure you're getting the full length of the IT band, all the way up to the hip and all the way down to the knee. Good, and then you can stand up. Take plenty more time with that if you need it, but when you're finished, stand up. Feel the difference between the two sides. Stand well on your feet. Feel your weight in your legs, your feet. I even noticed a difference in my neck on the right side after doing that. And then we'll do the other side, so you can just rewind the video and take the left side on your own. Thanks for joining me today.